rappers you'll ever hear about in politics. Her name is Valentina Gomez. She's now running for Congress in Texas. She had a failed campaign in Missouri. And when I talk about the level of just pure hatred that this lady has, it's unlike anything I've seen before. And I mean hatred towards Muslims, where it's not just your typical racism. Like, it's truly just for the grift. You can tell. And it's absolutely wild. So take a listen to her campaign launch video, I guess I would call it, and let's just talk about it because this thing is absolutely psycho.
Texas, I've officially filed to become your next congresswoman. So the choice is yours. Vote for me so we can kick every dirty Muslim out of Texas, save your daughters from getting raped by Mohammed, and protect our soldiers from getting murdered in broad daylight. Let me be very clear. We will make Texas the worst place for groomers, terrorist Muslims, pedophiles, and illegals to live in, so help me God. For me, this is just an election. But for you and your daughter, this is your life. Because Texas has only gotten more Muslim under these weak Republicans. New York City already fell to Islam. So did Michigan and Minnesota. And you're next in line. If Texas falls to Islam, it's simply because you didn't vote correctly. God bless you all.
Powered by Jesus Christ. So this is the thing I'll say. I'm just going to say what's on my mind. This chick's Colombian. She has an accent. She wasn't born in the United States. Texas, a lot of white Texans don't like the immigration and the border wall issue. There's many South Americans in Texas. There are many Hispanics in Texas. She's no different to these sort of people. And she has a damn accent. She looks Hispanic. They're not going to see her any differently. So she knows it's going to be very hard to win their vote because of the fact that she's Hispanic. That's just matter of fact. That's just true. Okay, let's not sugarcoat that. So I think one of the reasons that the Muslim like hatred, it's not your typical politician that's like, let's stop immigration from the Middle East. It's not even, I don't consider Trump having pure like evil hatred towards Muslims the same way this chick does. Nothing. It's like night and day. I think the reason that she really pushes that is because of the fact that she's Hispanic and she knows that she's not going to get their vote, but by redirecting their hatred towards Muslims, then she's like, wait a second, if I focus on hating the other guy more, then maybe they're going to overlook the fact that I'm Hispanic and they'll vote for me. I think there's a little bit of that going on. It seems pretty obvious. So it's just psycho level sort of stuff, guys. She's the same chick. She took a video, shooting the back of the head of a stuffed doll saying this is what we should be doing to illegals in this country, whatever else. And, she's not the only one that figured out it's easy to grift. Even Israel has done that. I'll show you guys a previous study that Israel has done. But what's so funny, I think the number one thing that I find hilarious about this chick is her stance on AIPAC, the Israel lobby. Complete flip-flop. So she used to adore Thomas Massie on social media, on X. She would support him. She says we need to root out political corruption. And because of the fact that she's just a failure in politics, straight up failure, she lost her race in Missouri. People don't like her on her own side. She realized, well, maybe if I just suck up to Zionists, then I'll get elected. It's kind of what happens when you're just a failing politician or you're failing in your career. If you become an Israel firster, all of a sudden you start getting all of these opportunities you would have never got before. So just take a listen to this. This is actually, I think this is probably one of the most hilarious videos I've seen because she doesn't stand by anything. She doesn't even stand by Jesus. I swear, if there was a situation in which if she grifted elsewhere, she would get elected away from Jesus, she would do it. I don't think this chick actually has any sort of standards. So here it is. Take a listen to this, please. This is probably one of the most hilarious videos you'll see. And let me just go ahead and adjust the screen here so you guys can see it better. In this video, she talks about AIPAC. It's separated by a few years or a few months or whatnot. And she has one stance on AIPAC, and then look how quickly she flip-flops. Probably one of the craziest things ever. All right, there we go. Take a listen.
Israel has influence on both sides of the political aisle in America.
Israel
has influence on both sides of the political aisle in American politics. For that reason, I will never be taking $1 from AIPAC because my allegiance is to the people, to the Constitution, and most importantly, to God. My morals and integrity are not for sale, and I will always put America first.
There's a lot of Hamas people coming for me on my social media.
I firmly stand with Israel. As part of a military family, we do not want World War III.
So it's not just Israel, though. It's AIPAC. It's AIPAC. This chick has, there we go. That's the tweet I was looking for. Look at that. This lady is psycho, guys. I'm not biggest grifter. People have woken up to AIPAC. This was in 2024. One of the worst foreign entities that need to be abolished. Again, failing in her career, failing in her efforts to become elected. 2025, literally a year later, just a day apart, AIPAC hit me up. I verified both of these tweets. They're verified. She posted this. She had both of these tweets up until about, like, I'd say 3 or 4 months ago. And then she deleted the tweets where she criticized AIPAC because now she's sucking up to AIPAC. Again, failing politician. So it really is a thing that this is where I was going to mention that Israel study. Israel paid a firm to conduct a study to figure out how to win support in the Western world, because obviously Israel is losing support everywhere. And the firm concluded that it's much harder for people to like Israel, but it's much easier for them to hate Arabs. So Israel doesn't need to actually worry about people liking Israel. It just needs to make sure that people hate Arabs more and people hate Muslims more. So what did Israel start doing? It redirected its campaign initiatives, and now it focuses on making people, especially in Europe, terrified of Arabs and terrified of Muslims versus actually liking Israel, because as long as they hate the enemy more, then we're on the same side. Same exact thing with this chick. She knows that most white conservatives just simply do not like the fact that the country and the border is very open. They don't like the migrants. They don't like illegals. That's a generalization, but we can say that in general there is a migrant and border wall issue that conservatives tend to predominantly prioritize more than liberals. I think that's a fair assessment. And to her, somebody with an accent, born in Colombia, it's just very obvious, guys. Let's not sugarcoat the fact that that's going to turn a segment of the population off while she's running Republican. So what she do? Well, I'll just hate Arabs and we'll win them back. And you know what? I think it might be actually working. Because she's really pushing this like sort of I'm American guys sort of thing where it's not genuine. You know, I talk about America first a lot. I say I'm Palestinian pretty obviously. And I was born Muslim. I've said that before. I don't affiliate with Islam anymore. That's a personal decision. I wouldn't ever hate on a religion like this chick does. I have a lot of Muslim friends still. I think every religion has its good and bad. Same thing just with every religion. My points aside, the issue with this chick is that it's just such a grift because of the fact that she's a failure of a politician. That's really the issue here. So whether or not it's actually going to work and she's going to get elected, I guess we'll find out. I'd want to hope not. I'd want to hope that people are more awake to this sort of stuff, more awake to the fact that Israel intentionally commits false flag attacks in the U.S. to garner hatred towards Arabs. And this is another thing I'll say, is that if you don't want any more migrants in this country, especially from the Arab world, let's just talk exclusively about that. If you don't want that, I'm not going to comment on your opinions. You can have those opinions. If you don't want that, I'll give you the solution to stop more Middle Easterners come to the U.S. I'll give you the solution straight up. Stop supporting Israel. It's really that simple. When you stop supporting the project in the Middle East that has destabilized the entire Middle East and created refugee crisis that has led to those people leaving the Middle East, until you stop supporting the cause, then the effect is going to keep happening. 1 year or one presidential term, you're going to have a president that's going to keep very strong borders, and it's going to be very hard to have immigration from the Middle East. And then what about when you have a Democratic president in office and all of a sudden the borders are more open and that problem doesn't escape you? If that's really your concern, the only cause is to stop supporting Israel. The less the Middle East is destabilized by a project that's focused on expanding from the river to the river, from the Nile to the Euphrates, rapid psycho settlers trying to steal as much land as they can get, committing Mossad operations, false flags, destabilizing, overthrowing leaders. Until you fix that problem, the effect of that, refugee crisis ensuing everywhere, that's what you're going to keep getting. So if she really wanted to fix the Muslim problem in the United States, I'm telling you the solution. You want case in point? Me right here. Me, I'm Palestinian. I love America. I love being in this country. I hope that if you've watched my channel long enough, you know I like being in this country. I love America. I love being in this country. But I'm also not ignorant to the fact that the reason that I'm in this country, and I was born here, the reason that I'm in this country is because settlers kicked my family out of Palestine and terrified them, and they were forced to leave. I'm very well aware of that. I have a lot of extended family in the West Bank. My family, my direct nuclear family, they were forced to leave. My grandmother is a refugee. She left the West Bank and she ended up going to Kuwait. Then during Saddam Hussein's invasion, my mom had to leave Kuwait and go to Jordan, and they've been hopping around. And I was born in Minnesota. I'm very honest about my situation. If you don't want somebody like me being in the United States, then here's the thing. If you didn't support Israel, then I would still be over there. That's just fact. That's fact. People like Valentina Gomez, however, don't want to let you know that. They just want to tell you, it's the damn Muslims. Let's just hate on them while we support Israel, and we're going to keep getting more of the same. You see the issue here? You see the hypocrisy a little bit? And support for Israel, and all of your Muslim problems that you don't like so much will go away, okay? In the meantime, you're going to get this psycho that's just going to keep going on this hate campaign for what? For what? It makes no sense. And this is what I will say for Republicans. You know, I don't identify with either political establishment. I think the establishment, the RNC, the DNC, BS on both sides. But Republicans, I'm going to give you the key to win every election. This is the key, okay? If you want to win elections in the swing states, Arabs are just more conservative on average. That is fact. Whether you like it or not, that is a generalization. We could say that Arabs tend to be more conservative on average. Arabs would vote Republican every single damn election if this obsession with Israel wasn't a thing. I promise you, I can assure you that Arabs would vote Republican every single election heavily. Generalization again. They would vote Republican more often than not because of the fact that you no longer support Israel. Because guess what? If that wasn't the case, their stance on a lot of the other civil issues, a lot of the other societal issues, they tend to swing to the right anyways. And I promise you, if there was a Republican that literally wanted to implement a Muslim ban like Trump did, but that Republican also just disliked Israel, also at the same time campaigned on no foreign aid to Israel, let's end it, let's give Palestinians freedom, but also we don't want those Palestinians here, I promise you the Arabs would still vote for that person. Promise you, hands down, no question about it. That's how much support for Israel is circumstantial. Now, if you want to win every election, guess what? Michigan has one of the highest Arab populations ever. A lot of the swing states do. That's the key. Just literally don't support Israel. Stick to your entire thing. And it's not like you have to grift and not support Israel. If you don't support Israel and you just campaign on that, you'll win it. And then when you win it, those people that you don't like so much, you can eventually put policies against them. Like that's just that's the truth of it, whether we like it or not. I'm just being honest about the facts. But Valentina Gomez, you know, she's just a grifter, guys. She's six for nothing. So that's really all I wanted to say for this video. Again, if you found it interesting, go ahead and click the subscribe button below and give it a thumbs up.